So now we're done with our database. We have made all the changes required, and the last thing we have to do is populate our database. Let's get started. So what I want you to do is, in your terminal again, hit Python manage.py shell. The first way in which we're going to learn how to populate our database is going to be through the Django shell. And then after that, I'll show you a very neat way through the admin site. So import Django to get the Django working, and then I want you to say django.setup. So what django.setup does is it now allows us to access the database values. So now we can say from polls.models, import question, choice. So this code right here, what we're doing is from our polls model, we want to import the question and choice class that we created so that we can give it values. Right now, if I see if there are any questions by saying question.objects.all, it's blank because we haven't added any questions. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, what parameters does our question take? It takes in text and it takes in the date published. So since I don't want to write out my date, I'm going to say from django.utils import time zone, okay? And then I'm going to say Q is equal to question, capital Q, question, and then question text. So now we're just going to enter the parameters. Question text is equal to what's your name, I guess. And we're going to have one more parameter, which is the date time. So what we can now do is say pub date is equal to timezone.now. That's the reason why we imported time zone. So now question has been created. That's fantastic. Let's go ahead and save the question. And now if we get the objects.all statement, let me just go ahead and get that over here. We get question object. You see, it shows that we've created a question, but it's not useful. We can't use this information to our benefit. So what we're going to do is, going back to our models.py file up top, we're going to add one more statement. And that's going to be the def str. So what this basically does is whenever we call or whenever we use this object, it's going to return the question text. So return self.question text, okay? And then same for the choice. So def str self return self.choice text, okay? That's that, and now I believe we have to exit out. Yep, we have to exit out. So go ahead and exit exit and then just the brackets and do the same commands again. So we want to first of all import, Python shell, Python manage.py shell. All right, and then we're going to import Django, and then we are going to django.setup. So it's basically the same stuff we did all over again. And now from polls.models import question, choice. I probably should have done this before, but just to show you guys how the str function works, there we go. And now if we do questions.objects.all, objects.all, we now have question, what's your name? Fantastic. So that's the whole purpose of the str self. Alright, so the next thing we have to do is add some choices, and I'll do this quickly, pretty fast. So I'm just going to say q.choiceset.create, and then it's going to pass in 3 parameters. So to not waste your time at all, I'm going to fast forward the video just a bit. It says q is not defined. Oh, and the reason being we haven't set q to anything. So go ahead and say q is equal to question.objects.get, and then pk equal to 1. Basically, pk, id, they're all the same thing. What you can do is to get any question from your database, whenever you create it, it's assigned an ID and a PK value. So to get it back, all you have to do is say objects.get and then that ID or that PK number. So now if I say q.choice set.create, so the same line as above, it now works. We have a choice Bob. Let's go ahead and do that with another name. Let's say Rachel. And let's go ahead and do that with another name, Fred. Awesome. So those are our 3 choices. That's fantastic. And now let's just go ahead and save. Awesome. So we've saved our question. We've saved our choices. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And fantastic, we just got our first set of data into our database. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is the admin tool. So to access the admin tool, the first thing we need is actually a login, so a super user. So go ahead and say Python manage.py super user or create super user, and it's gonna ask username, it's gonna ask your email address. So go ahead and enter that, gmail.com, and then enter your password. Awesome. So we've created our super user. Now we can access the admin page. But one thing we want to do before that, actually, you know what? Scratch that. So new window. Let me show this over here. Head over to your server. So first of all, run the server. Python manage.py run server will run the server for us. As you can see, we can now access it at 127.0.0.1. So if you head over to that, 0.0.0/that/admin, we should now see the admin page. We have our username, we have our password. So go ahead and enter whatever you had over there and log in. Awesome. So this is your Django administration site. It currently has 2 models, groups and users. Don't worry about that. We don't really care. What we want to do is we want to see our questions and our choice right over here, which isn't there right now. So what we're going to do is head back to your code, and in your admin.py, I believe, yes, it's going to be your admin.py. Over here, go ahead and add the following code from .models. So we want to access those, question, comma, choice, right? And then we're going to say admin.site.register question, and then admin.site.register choice. One neat thing about this is even though our server is running, any changes we make will immediately show in our website. So open this up, refresh. Awesome, guys. We have our polls app, we got our choices, we got our questions. Fantastic. So now we're almost there. What I want you guys to do is head over to your questions, take a look. We have your what's your name question. I'm going to go ahead and add one more question. I'm going to say what's your age. You can see now, looks like I spelled date published wrong. That's all right. But this is how it looks like. We added that char field. We added that date time field. This is the outcome. Go ahead and say date as today, time as now, and save. All right, that's the new question that's been added. And now go back to your home page and let's go ahead and add choices. So I want you guys to see the power of foreign key. So as you can see, the foreign key is now allowing us to specifically choose which question do we want that choice to be. So since we did what's your age, I'll go ahead and put some random values. 15, what's your age? Save and add another. 16, what's your age? Save and add another. And 17, what's your age? Save and add another. Awesome job, guys. Whoops, let me just go home. And now if you take a look at our choices, we have 6 choices. 3 for what's your name, 3 for what's your age, and we have 2 questions. So now looking back at it, what have we covered so far? We had Django installed, we set up our project, we set up our app, we created our models, we added values to our models through 2 ways. We used the Django shell and we used the Django admin page. So now looking back at it, which one do you think was easier? The Django admin page or the Django shell? Hopefully it's a Django admin because that's a ton more easier. It saves you a lot of time and it's really useful. But that wraps up this video. Awesome job, guys. We created our database, we populated it, and in the next video, we'll go ahead and show our data onto a URL, onto a web page.